So we previously solved rational equations by graphing them and seeing what they look like on graphs. So that's always something that we want to be able to go to if we want to check solutions for our equations. So when we have a rational equation like this, one way we often solve this is we can cross multiply this. Some people, and essentially cross multiplying is just a short form of multiplying through by the lowest common denominator. Okay, so we end up multiplying by 48 and by x. We end up with x squared on this side because the times 48's cancel. Here the times x's cancel, and we end up with 48 times 3. Okay, and then we end up with x squared equals, and this looks like to be 144, and then we solve for x squared. We can square root both sides, and just a reminder, whenever we solve by square rooting, we must involve the plus minus version of the square root, because the principal square root is only the positive version. Okay, and when we solve these, we should always check for extraneous solutions, and negative 12 divided by 48 is 1/4, 3 divided by negative 12 is negative 1/4, that's equal. Positive 12 divided by 48 is positive 1/4. 3 divided by positive 12 is positive 1/4. Okay, so these are both good solutions. We do have to be a little bit careful. Whenever we have variables in the denominator, we should always state that there are some restrictions here as well. Okay, and that is something that's important to do because there are times when those restrictions will give us extraneous solutions. So when we have an equation like this, we want to try to get rid of the denominator. Okay, so that's one thing that we want to do. We want to be able to get rid of this divide by x plus 3. Well, to get rid of divide, we use multiplication. So we undo divide with a times, and we can do this because we have an equation which if we multiply both sides, we keep the equation balanced. And again, that's a big idea. We can't just randomly multiply things. We have to keep things balanced. There's some basic rules that we always have to abide by. So here, I'm going to state my restrictions before I cancel anything out. X cannot equal to 0. X cannot equal to negative 3. Otherwise, we'll end up dividing by 0, and we get all sorts of weird results. So we end up with 5x plus 3. The x plus 3's cancel out, so here we end up with 6 times x. And so we can solve this equation. Okay, and solving this equation, we subtract 5x from both sides, and we end up with 15 equals x. So there's our solution. And again, we should always check it. 5 divided by 15 is 1/3. 6 divided by 18 is 1/3. Yeah, 1/3 equals 1/3. So the general strategy to deal with fractions in an equation, whether it be numerical fractions or algebraic fractions, okay, we want to clear out the denominator. So it is beneficial to clear out the denominator. Okay, and we can do that with a multiplication. Okay, so we'll clear it out using a multiplying strategy. So dealing with rational expressions and equations, well, it's really no different. We just need to, we multiply out by the algebraic factors. Okay, now the factors can be monomial factors, but now remember that these factors can be binomial as well. These plus pieces can represent, when we group them together in brackets, they represent times pieces. Okay, so again, that's really important to start identifying these pieces, whether they're times or plus.